Okay, so this is the sketch that I did yesterday, and I'm simultaneously pleased and frustrated by it. I like the general division of the image in this one big orange shape for the chicken and the light shape for the background. I think that works really well, and is also just aesthetically pleasing to me. Um, that looks good. I like it. And I'm frustrated with how unfinished a lot of those like inner forms are. How the skin flaps especially don't read very clear. And the feathery things are just, yeah, they're just not done. They're just not where they want to go. On the other hand, I am pleased again with the eye. Could have a bit more contrast, but it has a really nice shape and a nice glow to it, and I like all the folds around it. So I think for focusing on a head and actually sticking to, or well, sticking to the time limit plus 1 minute, this was good. But there's quite a lot that I can still learn about how to best work with chicken heads in 30 minutes. Um, and today I'm going to be doing that a little bit different than yesterday. I've prepared paper to do 3 chicken heads in a row. And the way that I'm going to do that is that I will basically do the first 15 minutes on one chicken, then move on to the first 15 minutes on the next chicken, and then do the first 15 minutes on the third chicken. Take a break, think about what I've been doing, and finish them in a second session. So that should have me at painting 45 minutes or a bit more than that in 2 separate sessions. And repeating the same kinds of tasks several times in a short period of time, which I find can be really, really helpful. Really good way of iterating on them, really good way of getting into a flow of doing them. Yeah, so these images, they will all be very similar. They will all be red, brown chicken heads seen in profile, or more or less in profile. They have slightly different lighting situations, slightly different angles, but really very, very different. Very, very similar, I mean. Yeah, and I'm curious how that's going to work out. I do really like the kinds of structures that the gouache makes in here. Also in general, also in some of the backgrounds that I've been doing. I'm not sure if it comes through on the stream. But especially when it's like wet and wet. It's just kind of pleasing to look at in detail. Maybe I should post some detail shots of these at some point. Yes. And the camera has recovered from that close up. So here's my prepared papers. I have not yet prepared my palette. That might bite me in the back, but and that's how it is, and that's how it will be. Yeah, I mostly need probably English red anyway. There's still quite a bit of English red on there, but I can just pour out some more English red. Here you go. And there's still quite a lot of white there. That should be fine. And black I will probably only need in the second round, or maybe. Okay. So, starting on the first chicken in a couple of seconds. Now, I'll just put on the large shape, the complete shape of the chicken head as a first step, making it all English red. And then the background, or the basic background. And then I will see how much time I have left for putting in the basic shadow shapes. Okay, I'll need 2 brushes for this. Always a bit concerned that when I'm using a small brush that I will end up drawing rather than painting. So this will all disappear. That's just for my own orientation. To understand where everything is. So that's been about 5 minutes. That shape is not quite as interesting or pleasing as the one in the last head sketch was. And also I will lose time cleaning my hands. At least a bit. Now the background. Background here is actually in part a really dark shadow. And the rest is a bunch of variegated browns and greens that I will simplify to probably ochre just to stay in the color scheme from before. Usually I try to keep the strongest contrasts to the end, but I might not get to work over this background at all. So I'll go straight in. And I'm not going to get into the details here. I don't think so. Maybe I will. Maybe I was wrong when I said I'm not going to. Okay, I will get into it. Just so that I don't have to do it later anymore. Okay, that's another 5 minutes gone. At least that's all the paper covered. Whatever else is going to happen, that is done. And now the shadow shapes I want to do in just one color for now. Not sure if that's also going to be black or like a purple or a purpley black. I think I'm going for a purpley black. Okay, 2 minutes, 40 seconds left on the first timer. Let's see how far I get. Ah, 15 seconds. Ugh. I'll give myself another minute. Damn it. Another minute. Okay. That's about it for now. Moving on to the next one. This one will get a gray background, and I'm giving myself a bit of a head start too with the mixing. I might not decide to, like, if I was doing this as a one-off, I might not pick straight up English red as the main color. I might end up, maybe I would mix it more with ochre or yellow or something, but because I'm doing these 3 in a row, trying to keep my color mixes simple and clear so I can still remember what it was that I was using when I get around for finishing these. Still, I will make a bit of an experiment here with adding the pink red parts already. I think I might actually use a different pink for that while it's wet, just to see what that does, if it works or it doesn't. Okay, starting the timer. No, this actually goes. Okay, this goes further down. Okay, then it works out. And now the pink bits. Yeah, that looks fun. That won't look as good anymore once it's dry, but for now it looks really, really fun. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, we'll have to pink this up more later. Removing some paint. Also a way to mark where the eye is. Okay, this looks really fun. This is really nice, and it works well for, or at least right now, I think it does. It works for making boundaries between the skin bits and the feathery bits a bit more it allows for those boundaries to be less harsh, to be a bit softer, which in reality they are, and something that I've been struggling to show within the time constraint that I've given myself. Like in times when I'm just doing lots of detail stuff, that's easy. I can just do all the feathers and things, and then that becomes clear. But when I have to simplify as much as I have to do in these, it becomes a lot trickier. So that's 6 minutes in. I'm going to start on the background. I'm going to keep it really, really, really simple. later. Now I should start on the dark shapes, but all that pink stuff is still wet. And I think I'll just do the dark shapes anyway. And I'm not going to do them as dark as I did in the last one. That seemed to be a bit too brutal. Maybe it won't be too brutal anymore once I'm working over them. Nose. So this has light coming from behind. So there's going to be a lot of rim light happening in the next layer. This is kind of chaotic, but I like it. It's chaotic in an interesting way so far. Three minutes left. That's more time than I expected. It's not supposed to be like the actual detail layer on the eye already, but since I have still time left for this layer that I don't really know what to do with, I might as well get into that. Okay, this looks very chaotic now. Still 30 seconds left that I don't know what to do with. Really just want this to dry and then start on the next layer. Okay, done. First 15 minutes. Some very, very pink skin. Moving on to the next one. This has a green background, but I don't want to paint it green. Not sure what I'm going to do about that yet. I think I will repeat the thing of working the pinkish reddish tones into the wet English red. And I might even do the same with yellow in this one. Pre-mixing a little bit. What will I do with the background though? Background is very dark in this, so I think I'll just do it another black and gray thing. That's where that red spot comes from. Okay, so I think I'm starting the timer. Yes. Now, timer started. Okay, the beak is only barely going to fit on here. Maybe I have to manipulate it into a tiny little bit smaller than it actually is. These structures, they are so delightful. So that's 5 minutes in. Okay, this is going to be very yellow now. At least for a moment. Okay, we'll probably run into trouble when I am trying to work over this with darker colors later because I'm putting on the paint so thick already. But it's fun. And pop art chicken, Technicolor pop art chicken at this point. So background. 6 minutes left, 6.5. think I will make the background black and yellow, which will result in like muddy green situation. Just because I'm enjoying the yellow on the chicken so much. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these edges so sharp. I generally don't usually like that. Much more of a disappearing edges person. Technicolor chicken. Paint doing funny things wet and wet. So that's the first layer on this one. The colors are already drying a lot more muted than they were when I put them on. There's 3 more minutes left on this, and I don't know what to do with them. I guess I'll play around with the edges a bit. This might be entirely in vain what I'm doing here because I think I'll put more highlights on there later. I haven't done any dark shapes yet, but there's not that many dark shapes here. Okay, I'll do a bit of dark shapes then. It's really more a drawing situation again with the dark shapes because I think the light is here coming from behind again. And means there's just not that much there. Yeah, light is coming from behind. There's some rim light that I will put in the next layer. That's the main light shadow thing going on. Okay. First 15 minutes on this one. Means I have the first layers on all three of them. And I'm going to take a break